The early morning light poured over the jagged peaks of the Sierra Verdan range, bathing the forested slopes in a golden haze. Mist lingered low in the valleys, coiling around the pines like restless spirits reluctant to leave the night. The world was quiet except for the rustle of birds waking and the rhythmic hum of a distant stream. It was a sanctuary of untamed beauty, a place where life and death constantly danced, unseen by most human eyes. High up on the ridge, a mountain lion named Suri prowled silently through the dew-drenched ferns. Her coat, a sleek blend of amber and ash, rippled with each careful step. Behind her, 2 cubs followed, little bundles of energy with oversized paws and wide eyes. She paused at the edge of a rocky outcrop, sniffed the wind, and listened. Her ears flicked. The forest was whispering of change. Suri's world was simple: protect, hunt, survive. She had learned the language of rustling leaves, the heartbeat of the earth, and the tone of danger that sometimes rode on the wind. But even she, queen of her territory, could not sense the horror that had slithered into her realm 2 nights before. Down in the valley, hidden beneath layers of brush and fallen branches, a giant Burmese python lay coiled, an invasive titan, longer than a truck and heavier than most men. No one knew how it had come to this part of the mountains, perhaps released by an irresponsible owner, or escaped from an exotic transport. Its hunger was endless, and its stealth was unmatched. Where it moved, silence followed. That morning, as Suri guided her cubs toward a stream, the python stirred. Its tongue flicked the air, tasting scent trails invisible to human eyes. Warm-blooded scent. Cubs. The creature began to move, every muscle rippling like liquid iron under scales mottled with gold and black. Dash dash dash. Down the mountain, Park Ranger Elena Ruiz was making her daily patrol. She was in her late 30s, compact and strong, with sun-darkened skin and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She'd worked these lands for nearly a decade, protecting wildlife from poachers and the occasional lost hiker from themselves. Today, however, her patrol had a different focus. 2 days earlier, Elena had found strange tracks near the creek, a pattern she didn't recognize. Too wide for any native snake, and too heavy. She'd sent photos to the regional wildlife office, but no one believed her initial report. Probably an overgrown boa or a prank, they'd said. But Elena trusted her instincts. Something dangerous was here. She checked her tranquilizer rifle and scanned the trail. Her partner, a golden retriever named Raffi, padded beside her. The dog's nose twitched constantly, his tail wagging whenever he caught a familiar scent. Raffi wasn't just a companion, he'd saved Elena's life once during a flash flood 3 years ago. They understood each other without words. "Easy, boy," she murmured. "Let's check the ridge before the heat sets in." The radio on her belt crackled. "Ruiz, any luck on those tracks?" Elena pressed the button. "Not yet, Chief. But I've got a feeling we're close. Something's off up here." "Copy that. Keep your eyes open." She clipped the radio back, unaware that only a few hundred meters above her, Suri's family was walking straight into a nightmare. Dash dash dash. The cubs played near the stream, chasing each other's tails. Their laughter, if such a sound existed in the language of wild things, filled the clearing with joy. Suri crouched nearby, drinking deeply, her reflection shimmering in the rippling water. The forest, however, had gone still again. Birdsong ceased. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Suri lifted her head sharply, droplets glistening on her whiskers. Her muscles tensed. Something was wrong. A shadow moved, under the ferns behind her. Slowly, deliberately, the air filled with a faint, rhythmic hiss. And then, without warning, the python struck. The monster erupted from the undergrowth like a nightmare made flesh. Its massive body slammed into Suri, coiling instantly, wrapping around her chest and forelegs with bone-crushing strength. She snarled, raked her claws, bit hard, but her teeth scraped uselessly against armored scales. The cubs screamed, darting into the trees. Suri thrashed, her muscles straining, her lungs screaming for air. The python's coils tightened, the sound of her heartbeat pounding through her ears. She could smell the reptile's fetid breath, the scent of decay and swamp clinging to its mouth. But the mountain did not abandon its queen so easily. The cubs' cries carried down the valley, faint but desperate. Raffi stopped mid-step, ears snapping upright. He whined, then barked sharply, tugging at Elena's sleeve. "What is it, Raff?" Elena crouched, listening. Then she heard it too, a strange, guttural cry echoing through the trees. Not human. Not bird. Wild. Her instincts flared. She grabbed her rifle. Let's move. They followed the sound through thickets and loose rock, climbing faster than she thought possible. As they neared the ridge, Elena could feel the forest's energy change. Every creature seemed to be watching, waiting. Then she heard it, the violent thrash of something huge. Dear God, she whispered when she saw it. Suri was half-pinned beneath the python, her golden fur matted with dirt. The snake's coil shimmered like molten bronze in the sunlight. It was enormous, at least 20 feet long, maybe more. Every movement it made exuded ancient power. Without thinking, Elena raised her tranquilizer rifle. Raffi, stay. The python's head turned, eyes gleaming with cold, unfeeling hunger. Elena's pulse hammered. She took aim at the thick neck, but the beasts were too close together. One mistake, and she'd hit the mountain lion instead. Come on, she muttered, edging closer. Suri roared weakly, clawing at the coils that crushed her ribs. The sound tore through Elena's heart. She knew the python could finish the kill in seconds. She needed to distract it. Hey, over here, she shouted, banging the rifle butt on a rock. Let her go. The snake's head swiveled toward her, tongue flicking, scenting new prey. That was all Suri needed. With a final burst of strength, the mother cat twisted and sank her fangs into the python's neck. The reptile recoiled, its grip loosening just enough for her to wrench free. She collapsed, gasping for air. The python turned again, enraged. Elena fired. The dart struck just below the jaw. The python flinched but didn't stop. She fired again, this time hitting closer to the eye. It thrashed violently, tail whipping through the brush like a living whip. Raffi barked furiously, dodging flying debris. The python reared, its head towering above Elena. For one terrifying instant, she saw her reflection in its dark, lidless eyes. Then it lunged. Raffi jumped between them, teeth bared, snapping at the python's snout. The distraction gave Elena the moment she needed to roll aside and grab another dart. She jammed it into the base of its neck and fired point blank. The monster screamed, not in sound, but in the violent spasms that rippled down its body. It twisted, coiled upon itself, then went still, its tongue flickering weakly before falling silent. Elena's chest heaved. Sweat dripped down her temples. She approached cautiously, rifle ready. The python's body still twitched, but its eyes had dulled. The tranquilizers were working. She dropped to her knees beside Suri, who was trembling, sides heaving with shallow breaths. One of her forelegs hung limp, dislocated or fractured. The mountain lion's golden eyes met Elena's for the briefest second, filled with both fear and recognition. It's okay, Elena whispered, voice trembling. You're safe now. Suri blinked slowly, as if understanding. Her cubs crept out from the trees, mewling softly, pressing against her side. Elena reached for her radio. Base, this is Ruiz. I've got an injured mountain lion and a massive python. Repeat, a massive python. Send backup with transport and containment. This is urgent. Copy, Ruiz. Hold tight. She exhaled, running a hand over Raffi's head. The dog panted, tail wagging, eyes still locked on the snake. You're a damn hero, she said, voice breaking. We all are. 2 hours later, the site was a controlled chaos of vehicles, ropes, and hushed voices. Wildlife officers surrounded the python, measuring and securing it into a reinforced transport cage. The creature's size left even the veterans speechless. Elena stayed beside Suri, who had been sedated for treatment. Her leg was badly injured, but the vet assured her it could heal with time. The cubs, trembling and hungry, huddled near their mother's flank under a blanket Elena had laid down. She's lucky you found her, the vet said quietly. And lucky that dog has faster reflexes than most humans. Elena smiled faintly, stroking Raffi's fur. We were in the right place at the right time. But she knew it was more than that. It felt like fate, some deep thread that tied human compassion to the pulse of the wild. Days turned into weeks. Suri recovered in the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center nestled deep within the reserve. Elena visited daily, bringing food and watching from behind the safety glass. The cubs grew stronger, tumbling over each other as they played in the enclosure. Each time Suri saw Elena, her ears flicked, her eyes following the ranger's every move, not with fear, but with a quiet, watchful gratitude. The python, meanwhile, became a subject of intense study. DNA tests confirmed it was a Burmese hybrid, likely released years ago and surviving off the abundant prey in the lower valleys. Its presence sparked a wave of awareness campaigns about invasive species and the delicate balance of the ecosystem. The story of the brave heroes of Sierra Verdan spread across the nation. Newspapers, wildlife magazines, even television crews came to film documentaries. But for Elena, the fame meant little. What mattered was that the mountain lion family was alive. One crisp evening, under a silver moon, the day finally came to release them. Elena drove the transport truck to the same ridge where it had all happened. The air smelled of pine and cold stone. She opened the gate slowly. The cubs leapt out first, bounding into the ferns. Suri followed more carefully, her gait steady though still marked by a faint limp. Elena stood silently, hands in her pockets, heart full. Suri paused a few meters away, turning her head. Their eyes met again, human and wild, protector and protected. No sound passed between them, but an understanding did, a shared memory of courage, pain, and survival. Then, with a flick of her tail, the mountain lion disappeared into the forest, her cubs scampering behind her. The silence that followed was not empty, it was alive, sacred. Raffi barked once, softly, as if saying goodbye. Elena smiled. Yeah, buddy. She's home. Months later, the forest flourished. The balance had returned. Camera traps placed by the Park Service captured images of Suri and her now nearly grown cubs roaming the high ridges. They were healthy, strong, and thriving. Elena watched the footage in her cabin one night, sipping coffee. When Suri's face appeared on screen, eyes glinting in the moonlight, she felt tears rise unbidden. "You made it," she whispered. The radio on her desk crackled. "Ruiz, you up? We've got a sighting of another python down in the wetlands. Might be smaller, but it's definitely not native." Elena set down her mug, eyes sharpening. "Copy that. I'm on my way." Raffi wagged his tail, ready for the next adventure. Elena grabbed her hat and rifle, stepping out into the cold night. Above her, the stars shimmered like scattered embers, and the wind carried the scent of pine and rain. She looked once toward the mountains, the place where courage had bloomed in the heart of fear, and whispered a silent promise. "Wherever you are, Suri, we'll keep you safe." Then she and Raffi disappeared into the dark, following the trail of danger once more. In the deep wild, beneath a canopy of whispering leaves, Suri lifted her head. The wind carried familiar scents, earth, rain, and something distant, something human yet kind. She looked down at her grown cubs resting beside her. The forest was peaceful again, but her instincts never slept. She was the guardian of these ridges now. Somewhere far below, thunder rumbled, the echo of storms and the endless struggle between chaos and care. Yet for now, the mountains stood serene, the scars of battle hidden under new growth. Life went on, resilient as ever. And though Suri would never understand the strange two-legged creature who had saved her life, she would remember her scent forever, the smell of hope, and the quiet bravery that linked two worlds. Because sometimes, heroes wear ranger hats. And sometimes, they wear fur and fangs. But in the heart of the wild, courage speaks the same language. Always.